Hey lovies, it's Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast, and we are in the middle of our magic series, and we are on episode 10. And today we are going to be talking about the magic of dirt, D-I-R-T, dirt. Okay, and just as a reminder for those of you who are just now tuning into this series, this is a series of finding magic in the most mundane of places. Just in case we just happen to be out of our home, okay, or living in the woods, and you feel like there's no way that we can, conjure up magic without being in, rural or mainstream society or in a big city or whichever. There are things in nature, obviously, that you can use to the fullest of its magical potential. Okay, so this is pretty much, giving El Natural, vibes here. Okay, we're not gonna stay and stick to this witchy, evil, devilish aesthetic that a lot of, either practitioners or, tarot readers or psychics want to latch on to. You literally can just be walking somewhere and pick up some damn dirt and literally manifest the shit you got to do. Okay, because I'm really trying to really break down those aesthetic barriers that people, put limits on themselves. It's like, if I don't do this, I'm not witchy. You literally can wake up and find magic in your carpet. But today we're talking about dirt. All right, so dirt is something you do not want to miss out on. Most magical practitioners know the value of dirt. Dirt is everywhere. In or near every home, school, office, institution, etc. Dirt holds a certain type of energy. What type of energy, you say? Well, the intention of the building or land from which you find the dirt. But how is it magical? Well, dirt is carried from place to place on our shoes, tires, and, around our, in our plants or in our bushes or in, any decorative things we have to display nature. Okay. The place from which it came, where it ends up, and the carrier is what makes it magical. Dirt is the most natural part of magic, as it is connected to the most authentic part of nature. Things are buried, planted, sustained, and preserved in dirt. Okay, so it is often overlooked, and forgotten about in the entire scheme of things, but yet still very important. Okay, animals make homes in the dirt and underground, to stay safe from the land predators and other animals or humans and etc. Okay, I don't really have to go on a whole tangent about how dirt is significant. I'm just going to show you now how it's magical. Okay, dirt is placed around a building as decoration for plants or, grass to provide sustainable air to breathe. But at the same time, it can absorb the air. The dirt absorbs the energy. For example, dirt placed around a bank has the energy to bring about large sums of money, successfully coming in and going out. The success of the bank is absorbed in the dirt around it, giving it its magical properties. You see where I'm going with this? Okay, so where can we collect dirt for our magical purposes? Well, just about anywhere. It really depends on the intention. It really depends on also the fragment of energy you are looking for, right? If you're looking for a consistent business, you would want to grab dirt, or even rocks or pebbles from around a business that everyone in a town goes to, right? This one part of town that everybody goes to, or at least has to go to at least once, right? And usually these are our convenience stores and usually our gas stations. So keep that in mind as well when it comes to prosperity, especially if it's a building or place that the town needs to be open. Okay. Let's take another look at some other places you can collect dirt. So there is dirt that's called holy dirt. Okay, that's dirt from synagogues, mosques, churches, and places of worship that are very good for protection, safety, connecting with spirits, and meditation. For those of you who are into the dark arts and hoodoo and voodoo arts, there is grave dirt. Dirt from graveyards, cemeteries, and places of burials. They're good for hexing, dark magic, revenge, or domination. People often collect grave dirt of very wealthy or famous people, as to why they are often buried in secret or have, concrete graves. So keep that in mind when you think about celebrities, why they don't have dirt around their physical grave. They have these stone monuments and they are heavily protected. To this day, nobody knows where Freddie Mercury is buried. Supposedly he is buried somewhere, but nobody actually knows the location. And a lot of people who have been famous, they do keep this in mind when they die, or when they're close to dying, or they make their arrangements for death. They don't want people creeping up on them after they die, because they are very, very aware of magical practices. All right. Bank dirt from a prominent financial institution to attract money, wealth, success, a job, better business, and stable living. Okay. You can also do this from a very well-known place. Rather than a bank, you can go to T-Mobile, and really any store that's really big and prospering, like Walmart, for example, or, Best Buy, or even your favorite food chain, McDonald's. These places are, fragments that are connected to billions of dollars. So keep that in mind, especially when I talk about returning to source. This is your way of returning to source, or gaining that little string that's connected to source in a more convenient way. There's court dirt from a courthouse or place of justice to attract justice, fairness, intervention, victory, and compromise, especially when seeking justice for your particular causes. This is often used in divorce magic, okay? Especially those who want a divorce, just keep that in mind. And yes, you can collect dirt from a prison or a jailhouse if you are looking for like malicious energy, or even if you're looking for domination energy or looking to bind someone. So that's binding energy if you're looking to get it from a jailhouse. Community dirt. Collect it from a wealthy community to attract the same comfort, success, and respect from a more favored part of society for bettering of oneself. Now, this has to do with like gated communities. Now, we all know somebody that lives in a gated community. Now, I'm not saying to go wreak havoc. Do not do that. That is not what I'm saying. Okay? Trigger warning and for educational purposes only. Okay? Literally, if you're able to get the opportunity to be in a gated community, okay, grab some pebbles, grab some dirt, okay, so you can take on that wealth, that you can, take on that wealth. I'm not saying terrorize, but if you see a rock, pick it up, just wash it off, and just say like, hey, I want the, wealth of, where this rock once was placed, okay, and you'll start to see very, very soon things improving in business or whichever. I do recommend using community dirt, especially if you are looking to move. So if you're trying to move houses or move neighborhoods, you would most likely, venture out to the places where you would like to live, okay? And this will help you manifest either you living there or living in a similar place, okay? If you have a particular house that you are, attracted to, try to get some dirt from that particular house, okay? And, make it, in your favor to have the dirt from that house, okay? So just keep that in mind when trying to manifest a place to live, because in this economy now, we're pretty much using anything that we can. So we got to use our brains and our spiritual alchemy here, okay? This can also include a very successful business or institution that you may have access to. Like, where do you put this dirt? Okay, well, that's a good question. It all depends on how you practice your own magic. But dirt is usually carried on the person who is looking to gain it, or you can put it around your home or office to ensure the energy is always with you or helping you in a particular space. So I do, in fact, for those of you who have sat in my office, I do have sprinkles of dirt from, like, Dunkin' Donuts and, very famous, very, very well secured banks, investment banks, where millionaires keep their money and stuff like that. Not to say that I've tricked anyone, but I need the motivation that they have to keep their wealth. Not only get the wealth, but maintain the wealth. So it transforms you, spiritually to align with that wealth energy. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. Dirt is often added to spell rituals, mojo bags, and candles and oils to enhance the power of your intention. Use it any way you like, because all of our magic is unique. Okay, everyone has different ways to do things. This is just my suggested way, but this is just to let you know how dirt is magical. People who often get cemetery dirt, they usually attend a funeral, right? And then they take the dirt from the freshly buried body, of that particular grave, and etc. Okay, so I hope you were able to learn something in regards to the magic of dirt. Drop your questions, comments, contact me if you have anything to say about, anything I could have missed. What are your thoughts? How do you use dirt? Did you ever consider using dirt before? How new are you to this practice? Or how old is it? Or when is a time where it didn't work for you? Or etc. I want to know. I want to hear it. So once again, lovies, I will see you in the next episode as I continue this magic series. And I will see you in the next episode. But at this time, have a happy holiday. And Happy New Year if I don't hear from you and don't see you. 2024, we're going into the unknown. All right, lovies. See you next time.